Hey guys, this is Austin.
And John.
And welcome to another episode of the Meatgistics podcast.
So Austin just got back, obviously, from his trip to the South Pole, where he hasn't seen the sun in months. I just got back from South America, helping the indigenous people build wells. I mean, I'm just a good guy.
Yeah, you're just such a nice person, John.
What can you do?
Yeah.
So we've got a cool little experiment here for you today. We've got 3 different steaks. They were all paid the exact amount, same amount, price per pound. Got them at the same time. They've been treated exactly the same, except for they've been cooked in 3 different methods. In one, we did a reverse sear on the Woodwind Camp Chef grill. I think we were just using mesquite. Yeah, either mesquite or hickory pellets on that. Another, we used the PK grills, those aluminum, charcoal, and wood grill. And then a third, we went ahead and sous vide it and finished it up on the sear box, which is this little box that comes on you can get that goes on the side of your Woodwind, propane powered, gets super hot. So we want to see, I know which ones they are. Patrick knows which ones they are, so I can't lie. Before we begin, what do you think? Like, just look at them and try and guess which is which.
Well, the lightest colored one, that's going to be the sous vide.
Okay.
The next 2, I mean, they look very similar, the other 2. If I'm wrong about the sous vide one, that's just going to kill me.
You are not wrong. That's
okay.
Painfully obvious. Now, I do want to point out, I hate that sous vide one because I was finishing them all on the sear box just to make it easy, right?
Yeah.
So I had these 2 on there, then I put that one on, and it had so much like fat ready or rendering out already that it got underneath everything and flared up, and that's why you've got like some burned edges here.
Yeah.
So I'm annoyed at the sous vide steak just before we even get going. Everything has been seasoned with Ultimate Steak and Roast Rub from us. And
You're gonna answer
is this the first time this has happened?
We had a phone call on a live stream one time, and I answered it on the live stream.
Who was it?
Mike Christensen from Pass It On.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. That was my good friend, Likely Spam. So he and I try and keep in constant contact. All right. So, and then we sprayed everything as we were searing them with duck fat. So I love that.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go. Which one do we want to try first?
Oh, let's start with the sous vide one, just because I already know which one that is. So this would be one of the first times that we've done some sort of taste testing where I'm pretty sure John has not cheated and tasted it ahead of time, because it's hard to cheat and like eat a steak
right
before it's,
I would have had to have cooked 2 of each and then eaten 1, which isn't beyond the realm of possibility for me.
That is true.
Taste, excellent. Hate the texture. It's like chewy and tough.
Yeah. How long did you sous vide it?
4 hours. So plenty of time for it to all break down.
Yeah, that's surprising. I'd expect it to be more tender.
Remember when we did the like sous vide for different periods of time, and we figured out, we thought 8 hours or like 6 to 8 hours is the best? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't work because that is a fairly thick steak. Maybe that has something to do with it.
I don't know. I mean, heat transfer is so good in sous vide that it shouldn't matter how thick, because the whole thing's going to get up to the right temp and sit there for the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it was good. I got a piece of gristle in mine, so that's gonna
never helps.
That's gonna
never helps.
Yeah, be
All
hard.
right, which one do you want to try next?
Do that one.
This one?
Yeah. That one and the middle one, they look so similar. So I would definitely say that the look difference between the Woodwind and the PK is very minimal. I have a feeling that I'll be able to taste the difference. I think there should be a pretty clear distinction between pellets and charcoal.
Texture hundreds of times better. Literally hundreds of times better on that. It's not even remotely close how much more I like the texture on that one than on the first one.
Same here. Completely different.
It was interesting. I was on the Flush podcast Tuesday with Travis, and we were talking about the kind of trends. He's like, I know last time we talked, you were kind of big into, or sous vide was getting big in your world. It's like, yeah, that kind of died out. Like, I don't know if it was novel and everyone's like, oh, this is an awesome way to do it because it was kind of convenient. But I said it definitely has found a second life in like finishing up your summer sausage or snack sticks. Like that is the main thing I think sous vide is useful for now, is just that. Other than that, I've tried chicken on it a few times. I don't like how that turns out. Yeah, I don't know.
I still do it every now and then just because of the convenience. But I don't cook every night that way.
When is the last time that you had to cut Leo's steaks or cut Leo's meat for him? Do you do that daily? Does your wife normally handle that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, we both. It's not like just one of us does it. It just depends.
Well,
It's
I don't
random.
have a child, so I'm happy to cut your steaks up for you.
Thanks, John. Feel just like my 2-year-old son right now.
There you go. Tastes identical. Don't maybe try a different area of it because I don't feel like that had the same tenderness as this one.
I don't know. Mine was fairly similar. I do think there was a pretty big difference on the flavor. I want to. Here's where I'm trying to debate: was it charcoal or smoke? Because I mean, it's a definitely a difference on the flavor, but I was expecting charcoal to really stand out, and I'm not really sure where I'm standing right now.
And he's looking deep within his soul. You can see his eyes. He's got that 1,000-yard stare.
Man, I'm gonna screw this up, but
You have a 50-50 shot.
yeah. So the third one, the middle one,
that
one was on the PK.
Yeah.
Wow.
Correct. Well done.
It just doesn't have the right type of charcoal flavor that I'm expecting, but it definitely has a lot stronger. It feels more of a smoke flavor than a charcoal flavor, but that definitely stands out a lot over the other one.
Which one do you prefer?
I'd probably prefer the one cooked on the woodwind. I do like that. Man, we're losing steak pieces all over the place.
Those are nasty pieces.
I don't know. It's nice to have a little bit of a difference and taste that extra charcoal. It's a good flavor in my opinion, but I'd prefer to have a stronger just meat flavor.
Yeah. And let's not overlook the fact that the PK is dozens of times more difficult to deal with than the woodwind. I mean, that for me is the biggest reason to get a pellet grill. So simple to do everything, to start it up, to clean it up, to turn it off. With that PK, I closed all the dampers out and I'm starving everything of oxygen. I'm going to have to leave it out there tonight. And I'm not going to be able to bring that in 3 hours. That aluminum stays hot for forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pain in the butt.
Yeah. So, tangenting a little bit, how did you cook these steaks? What would you call this on a doneness level? Is it rare, medium, medium well?
To me, that's on the rare side of medium rare.
This is the rare side of medium rare.
Yes. So just getting into medium rare.
Interesting.
Why?
Because I think after some of the conversation we had a couple podcasts ago, and then some of the blowback I received on Meatgistics about people saying my liking of a medium cooked steak is so wrong, I was going to say that this was on the upper end of medium rare, close to medium.
No, this is definitely on the. I pulled these when they were 123, I think, and let them. I mean, they've been sitting here, so they've been cooking in their own residual heat a little bit. But yeah, I mean, pulled them at 123.
Okay.
So if this is what you would normally like a steak,
this is
then
how
you like it.
I would normally
medium
cook
rare.
steak. Yeah.
Yep. Had we gotten into them just a minute or two after we pull them off, they might be a little bit more pink. But I mean, as you can see, it's pretty much, we've got a tiny little gradation on the edge from the grease fire because of the stupid sous vide steak. But other than that, I mean, they're perfect throughout.
Yep.
Something that's interesting, and I was talking to Dylan about this. Do you see this?
Yeah.
I don't know what to call it, and I don't remember what he called it. It's a vein of some sort of, he didn't say cartilage. He said, oh God, I can't remember. But he said, that's going to be really tasty when it cooks down. So I'm going to eat a big piece of that because this one did have a good vein of that in it.
That's weird. I don't know. Did he explain at all why?
There were Wagyu, was a whole subprimal. So we were just kind of entranced by that. I wasn't asking any questions.
Wait, these were Wagyu?
These were not. No,
Oh.
no. He had
Dang.
some.
I was like, what?
No, definitely not Wagyu. These were choice.
Okay.
Which we've got to start doing some stuff on trying to make choice steaks taste better. My first thought was if we just grab one of those rubber stamps that says prime and stick them with it, maybe by transferring properties that will make it better.
Yeah, I've heard you can do that.
We might get a $10,000 fine or $100,000 fine, whatever it is. But I don't know if you've been paying attention to beef prices recently.
Mm-mm.
It's ridiculous. Like, I like to eat 3 to 4 steaks a week. That is, I look forward to my steak. I want to eat it. I love the flavor. For me, it's simple to make. As soon as I get home, turn on my grill, throw it in there at 205 for 40 minutes or so, and then finish it up on the sear box, and I'm done. Eating about the time when my wife gets home. I wouldn't even come close to paying for a prime steak right now.
Really?
It would be a $25 meal. It's crazy.
Yeah. I haven't looked for a few weeks, but I was talking with our store manager recently about steaks and prices there, because we're running a steak comp, a steak cook-off.
Oh God, how many do you have to buy for that?
So we're gonna have like 75 to 80 teams. Everybody has to have 2 steaks.
Anyone's pick.
You have to have 10 to 20 left over.
Okay.
So if people reject any, and then to add to that, we're going to order more steaks because we want everybody to have extra that they can cook and hand out as samples for the event.
Yeah.
And then to really complicate things, this is not a single steak comp. We're running a double. So all of that, double it. Instead of just one event, it's like one event for the first few hours, and then you choose a winner, and that's all done, and then you start over and you do it again. So
we'll be the same people.
It doesn't have to be, but most people will just enter into both. But we're talking like $8,000 in steaks. Yeah.
Thank God it's not my money. I don't remember what it was the other day. Your father. Oh, we were going over inventory, and we were talking about dangers of overstocking and all that. And down in that tool we use, SIA, where it says estimated money of in-stock items, I was just like, oh God, thank God that's not my money. Oh my. Yeah. It makes
insane.
it easy when all I have to do is come here and work and not really worry too much about things. So, but clearly sous vide far end, right? That's not that's not even in the realm of these two.
No, not at all. It's still a steak that I would eat, and I still prepare a good number of steaks that way just because of my laziness factor.
Okay.
I am a very, very, very lazy cook.
Sure. There's nothing wrong with that.
But I mean, if you've got the time, it doesn't compare to the other 2 steaks at all.
No. One of the funny things is Lisa, my wife, is doing her MBA right now, and she has a guy who comes over, and the two of them work on a project together. Like, he's awesome. He and I hang out, but I feed him every time he comes over. Like, I've made shrimp scampi, steaks, ribs, and he's just like, what is this place? It's like, what is going on here? And my wife eats none of it, like nothing I cook. And I try and tell her, I'm like, you're missing out on some amazing meals because of your Nazi-like addiction to counting your macros and, making sure that everything's perfect. But oh well, it's more for me
Yeah.
and the dogs. I cook a steak at home. I've never once failed to give my dogs the trimmings every time. But you would think that they were sure I wasn't going to give them anything. They stare at me and friggin' shakes till I give them some. It's ridiculous.
They wouldn't do that if you just never gave it to them at all. It's the fact that you started it, and now they're anticipating, and they want it. They want it now. They
can't have it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's the fun of having a dog if you can't give it some steak? All right. Whatever.
Sure.
You got to baby them a little bit.
Yeah. Thinking of babies, this is not the same, but for some reason this makes me think of it.
Okay.
Not meat related, but food. My son will do a similar begging thing for suckers. It is the most funny thing in the world. He something will trigger him, and he will just sit there and go, more sucker, just over and over. I'll have to get a video of it and show it to you sometime.
That's awesome.
I picture it like my dog begging for food.
Yeah,
but it's
I'm
my
sure
son begging for a sucker.
Same thing. All right, so a couple of things going on right now. One, I almost had us breaking a world record. I was really, really close, but something happened where we're not going to do it. But
Dang.
until a couple of years ago, take a guess at what the world's longest bratwurst was.
Until a couple years ago?
Until a couple years ago.
Because I might have cheated and saw the story.
Okay.
Already, but I don't know what the old one was.
No, that's the one that we were going to break.
Yeah. So was that the old one?
Yes.
Oh, okay. See, I would have. I don't know. On one hand, I can't imagine how you would make a brat that long, but on the other hand, I'm like,
easy.
It's a world record. Surely.
Yeah.
I mean, surely someone's made a brat
So
like the size of a football field or something.
it was 52 feet or something like that.
Mhm.
Which when I read that, I was like, that is it. I'm figuring out how to make some sort of pit grill where we can cook this and do 56 feet or whatever. Because that'd be easy to do. And I mean, what little kid doesn't want to be in the Guinness World Book of Records? I've always wanted that. I'm just not good enough at anything to possibly be in there. But we were going to do cinder blocks down the parking lot on either side and just pack that with wood and charcoal, light it on fire, and it'd be fairly easy to clean up after. But no, somebody went ahead and did 160 something feet. So they more than tripled it to make sure that nobody would take that from them.
We could still beat that. The size of our lot here, you could get one that's 400 or 500 feet at least.
But what are we going to do for a casing? It has to be like one continuous bratwurst. Collagen doesn't make 400 or 500 feet.
I mean, all you got to do is take a few strands and just like super glue the ends. I'm kind of serious. Like find something that's
transglutaminase or whatever that is, the meat glue.
I mean, it doesn't have to be edible necessarily.
Yes, well, I'm pretty sure it does.
Oh, well, use safety pins and take them out once you get it stuffed.
Sew them together.
But yeah, you could just do something like that because that had to have been what whoever did to get one that's over 100 feet long, because most collagen casings aren't that long.
Yeah.
Natural casings, definitely not.
Definitely not natural, no.
Yeah, they had to have done something to piece some casings together.
Yeah. I mean, you could even, you're right. There are ways to do it, but I don't want to set up some sort of grill type thing for 200 feet.
You don't have to set up a grill for 200 feet.
It can't be coiled.
Not that either.
Okay.
All you need to do is have it be like a pizza oven. You're gonna cook like a 10-foot section
Pass
at a time,
through.
and you're just gonna slowly pull it through.
We'll go to the local pizza joint and just say, "Hey, would you mind if we got in here?" That's what the Casey's uses, that type of pizza.
We can get. We used to be able to get pizza ovens from one of our overseas vendors.
Okay.
Yeah, we could do that.
When I took this job, it was between this place and a place that makes pizza ovens. So,
Seriously?
Uh-huh.
There's a place in Wichita that makes pizza ovens?
There was. I don't know if they're still around, but no.
Interesting.
I mean, that definitely was a real possibility. So it's like, oh, that would be something I'm definitely passionate about. No question on that. But one of the things that came up and made me laugh with Travis on the flush was he said 3 or 4 times, he's like, you guys certainly aren't afraid to get into controversial topics, are you? It's like trying to think of what we've talked about that's that crazy.
Oh, we get on rants that I think are definitely heavily opinionated by some people. I think the biggest difference is you and we don't ever, I don't feel like we ever judge people for it. Like even when we've talked about obviously what is the complete antithesis of what we do here, it would be vegetarian something or vegan something.
Whatever.
And neither of us have a problem with that. It's just, hey, here's our viewpoint.
Why would you care? Like I can't even, that's so alien to me to care about what someone else is doing. If it doesn't like directly affect me, which that doesn't, like, why would you care?
Yeah. I still have an opinion on things, but yeah, I have too many things in my own life to care about and take care of myself than to try to worry about how everyone else is doing. Yeah. Unless it then affects me. But
the older I get, the more laid back and I guess laissez-faire is the right term. Just whatever. Do whatever you want. Just don't expect me to do anything special for it, and we're all good.
Don't interrupt my 2 to 3 steaks a night or a week for dinner.
Yes, that's very key. If I don't get the right amount of protein in a week, I get grumpy.
Yeah. I'm going to have to make sure my wife doesn't listen to this episode and think that she can get 2 or 3 steaks a week
Jenny,
going forward from here.
I'll teach you how to do that. That's no problem whatsoever. You just go and do all the food shopping yourself. My wife and I, we were having a conversation with somebody else about this recently. Especially now that she's almost done, but she's going for her MBA. We have 2 large dogs and she can't control both of them by herself. So like, I can't really just like let her do that type of stuff. I do the majority of the tasks around the house that would be like classically womanly. Like I do I do 90% of the laundry. I do 90% of the cleaning, dishes. Like literally, we usually get home, have dinner, and I say, okay, go study. And I pick up. Like I do all the food shopping. It's just a funny type of relationship. And I cannot wait for her to be done with school and me just go, here, I'm going to go fish for about 6 months. I'm going to do nothing but fish while you take care of everything else.
Yeah, because I'm going to say like it's been a couple years since I have heard or seen all kinds of fishing pictures and stories from you, because you used to have a lot of pictures, a lot of stories, and now all I hear is not necessarily one thing, but just other things.
So I've got a picture of a fish I caught at lunch today.
Oh, nice.
Bass.
Seriously,
Yeah.
that is
Fat little girl.
That is, yeah.
Yeah.
That's got a belly to it.
My dog, as you can see in the background, is terrified of a fish, apparently. Anytime I brought it near him, he just put his head down. Like, don't bring it closer to me. Don't bring it closer to me.
That's weird.
Yeah, absolutely. 180-pound dog afraid of a 4-pound fish. It's probably not quite 4 pounds, but yeah, we'll say it is.
It's crazy.
One of the things I really liked about the house when we first got in it and why I fished so much is because there was a lot of snakes down by the pond, and I'd bring my 9-iron and just kill them. Like if I wasn't catching any fish, I'd go hunt some snakes. But I killed too many of them, I guess. I don't know. They're never around anymore. There was one day I've got this tall grass back there, and Brutus was worrying at something in the grass. Like his head was down and I could see his ears shaking. And this is a while ago. But I was yelling at him. He wasn't paying any attention. So finally I got his attention and I'll never forget this. His head was buried into the grass. And he picked it up and looked at me, and there was snake hanging out of his mouth. So I don't know if he's killing them or what.
Oh, that's awesome.
But
If you want to hunt snakes, once I start seeing snakes around my house, I'll let you loose on my property. And
so Tyler Paul, who I think you have some connection through somehow. Anyways, he was asking the chief of police, who you also know, if he would get in trouble for shooting snakes in his backyard with a 22. And the chief said yes, which is unreasonable in my mind. And that's why Tyler moved out of the neighborhood somewhere more private.
Nice.
But yeah, I subscribe to the theory, like I'm deathly afraid of sharks, and not like reasonably, like deathly afraid of them. I think one of my ancestors was attacked by a shark. You can't prove that it didn't happen.
True. There's a lot of things you can't prove didn't happen.
So one thing I really enjoy is cold pizza. I think I like it at least just as good, sometimes even better than when it's hot. I don't feel the same way about steak. Cold steak is nowhere near as good as a hot steak, but I don't have a good way of reheating it that I love the results from.
You just microwave it. You microwave it on like a low setting. You do it at like 20-30% power, but you do it for like 5 minutes. And so it just brings up the temperature nice and slow. If you like microwave it when it's like at 100% power, it's just going to like recook the steak, and it's really uneven. Microwaves don't cook even. So you just do it like 20-30% power. Takes a long time, but works out well.
I don't know whether or not I want to stab you with this or my eardrums to have not heard you say microwave steak.
It's not just microwave steak. We're reheating a steak that was cooked on the grill in the microwave. There's a difference.
There's still...
Do you have a better way to do it?
No, I don't. But there's something deep within me that just shudders at that. You are too young for this, but they used to, I don't know if it was with microwaves or they sold these like microwave cookbooks separately. I know my grandmother had one. I think my mom did too. And I remember, like I was 8, and I remember looking through this cookbook, seeing them have a steak in there and being like, that looks terrible. Like that's not good at all. And this is the days back where there were no rules in advertising. They would use Crisco instead of ice cream because it looked better or like held better. I don't understand why they didn't just cook one on the grill and put it in there. Maybe they realized that people might get suspicious if there were grill marks on the steak.
Probably. I mean, that would just sounds horrible because microwaves cook so unevenly that you'd probably end up with parts of the steak that are cooked to 300 degrees and other parts that are barely hitting 120.
Yeah, I would rather eat the 300 part probably than I don't know, 120 is not that bad. Just I can't, like, you know how much or how little we liked the texture from that sous vide one?
Yeah.
I'm imagining 10 times worse with a microwave steak.
Probably. I mean, it's probably worse texture, but also just super tough. You're not going to have enough time for anything to break down. And it's going to be probably a really chewy cut of meat.
So what you're doing when you're cooking in a microwave is you're exciting the water molecules, right? You're getting them to vibrate faster and faster. Might that not break the bonds between the meats and actually make it more tender?
I hope not, because I don't want the microwave to be able to cook better.
Can't do it. You wouldn't be able to do it just in the microwave. But if we went back to traditional steak methods, and the theory was always hot on both sides to sear it and then lower the heat to let it finish. I wonder if we could start it seared on the sear box and throw it in the microwave and just see what happens.
You can try it, but
You're gonna have to
I
eat
don't
it.
think
No.
I want to try eating it.
Even if it was great, I would lie and say it was terrible. Throw it out. It's no good. One of the other things that came up on the Flush podcast we were talking about, he's like, what are the worst things you've ever done? And the two that will always stick out is obviously Willet barbecue beer, which was just the
That was
worst.
horrible.
For anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, Austin and I used to do a segment called Willet Barbecue, where we'd take weird, interesting ideas to the smoker or barbecue and see if we could do it on barbecue. We had some ridiculously amazing successes. Peach cobbler sticks
Oh,
out
yeah.
in my mind.
Yeah.
That was incredible. Anything we put the cinnamon toast shake on
Oh, yeah.
always worked out incredibly well. But there were a couple of big misses, and beer was the biggest of those. But the other thing was, and we scrapped the footage, I'm pretty sure, was that tofu brat we made for Recipe for Disaster. Do you even remember that?
I don't even remember that.
We
No.
had the garbage here in between us. I think we actually tried it on either a podcast or a live stream or something and just spit it right into the trash. It was god awful bad.
Ugh.
Absolutely bad. All right. I see what you have up on your screen there. Let's talk about that.
So this is weird. I'm looking at like a picture of a hot dog that has something weird on top. I don't know what it is. I haven't looked down through it all.
I think I know what that is, but we'll go.
But this is the most expensive hot dog commercially available. It's like a Tokyo dog made in Seattle, Washington, and it is $169 per hot dog.
For one hot dog.
It's insane. I don't understand why anybody would buy that.
I mean, the same reason people buy $500 steaks in New York, just because they have too much money, don't know what to do with it. I mean, you get to a certain point, I imagine, where it's like, what am I going to do with this money? I might as well spend it on something. There are people who probably think $170 perfectly reasonable price to pay for a hot dog. Maybe, oh, that seems a little bit expensive. I will be one of those people soon as I become the first Dogecoin billionaire.
Good luck.
I bought a bunch.
Like a bunch?
A bunch. No. Enough where it's funny. Like, not anything serious.
My wife owned some for a short amount of time.
Oh, she sold it?
Yeah.
Diamond
She picked up some day trading. She
Oh,
really
okay.
got into it
Sure.
for like a month and then sold everything, was like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. She made like $16.
Oh,
We were
Yes.
excited.
You
But
went
no,
out.
she had crypto in there.
Eh.
And I'm like, go for it. I don't get it all. Well, I get it, but at the same time I don't.
So,
It's
weird. Like 3 or 4 months ago, Patrick, was it about 4 months ago when I did that with Bitcoin? So everywhere I went for a day, literally every podcast, every conversation I became a part of was talking about Bitcoin. So I was like, whatever. I'll buy $1,000 worth. So download the Cash app and at this point I was still saving up to take Lisa on her 40th birthday vacation. So I was like, God, I don't want to buy 1,000. So I just bought 100. It tripled the next day. It's like, oh, you bastard. So I was like, well. And then it dropped back down again. And I was like, okay, now we're getting what we did. And then it like doubled after that. So made some good money on Bitcoin. I own some Ethereum. And the Dogecoin is really just a joke. But it's not. Like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, this is the new Bitcoin and you got in super cheap. So when it's worth, it would only need to be worth $4 for, I bought it at 28 cents or something.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, I mean, it technically has no value, but value is not something that you can necessarily assign just like that. Value is, what are people willing to pay for it?
Yep.
And if people are willing to pay for it and it becomes something that people trade value in,
we live in a meme economy. And I'm not even joking about that. I mean, 2 months ago, Dogecoin was worth fractions of a penny. And then Elon Musk and what's the other guy? Lex Friedman started tweeting about it kind of as a joke, but not really. And I mean, it's so many times more, doubled, that it's ridiculous. But yeah, exactly what you said. It's worth what people are willing to pay for it. And we get caught up because we do we deal in physical goods, right? That's all we do all day. we get caught up in like, what is someone willing to pay for this? But it's not even really that. It's what are you willing to give me for me to give you this? And that's really all our
Or
economy is.
what else are you willing to give up?
Right.
I was using that explanation with my wife the other day. We were talking about buying some stuff, and I'm like, I don't have an issue with it. I'm like, it's something that gonna cost a decent chunk of money. We're not just talking like $10 on
Right.
something, but
Yeah.
I'm like, it seems expensive, but I'm like, I don't care. It's fine as long as we know that's money that we don't have for something else. So it really comes down to how much are you willing to give up of something else
Yep.
to have this.
Yep.
But
The Halo dog collar is my next big purchase. I just want to be able to leave that poor dog outside because all it is we're talking about one of my dogs has severe anxiety problems. I'll post a picture sometime of the holes he's chewed in my doors. He sees me go out a door and then tries to chew to get out to me. But as soon as you let him outside, he chills right out. He just hates being locked up. But it's like $800. And that's a lot of money. I could put in a Visifence for that. Well, almost.
yeah.
So I don't know.
Why so going back to the crypto thing, why don't we like have a currency that's based off of like dried salami or dried pepperoni? The world would be so much better in my opinion.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
Go back to the cured meat standard.
Yeah.
Get off this fiat currency.
Yeah, the cured meat standard is where we need to go with this. Maybe we need to make our own
Walton Tremblay,
our own meat coin that is backed by physical goods. It's backed by Sure Cure and dried salamis.
So this is getting real way off topic now, but have you seen the people are making art in the ledger, like in the crypto ledgers?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't get it. I think
weird.
we talked about this. Somebody sold a banana, called it art, and sold a bit like a banana peel pasted to a wall for like $1.6 million. We talked about this a long time ago. I'm wondering, is this like the same thing? Because that's all just about money laundering. Like all those weird art pieces that are worth nothing, but people pay. It's all money laundering. So I'm wondering if that's the same thing.
I don't know.
Crypto also throws a lot of people off. They think it means like it's cryptic and you won't be able to see it. It's the most trackable currency like possible. Everybody can see it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Well, I guess we're the orange pill now. No?
What does that mean?
There's a podcast called The Orange Pill. It's all about crypto.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, let's not do that. We can talk about it for a hot second. But
that is the most I can talk about.
I couldn't do that all the time.
No.
Why don't we actually get something else about meat in here? Or
I'll go right back to it. Sure.
Okay. Looking back over the past year, obviously prices on meat have been kind of weird, but they just came out with the latest monthly data on food prices, and it's the 10th month in a row that we've seen food prices continuing to rise. That definitely holds true, specifically on beef and pork. And then looking at how much meat is being sold, we actually are like 17% down from last year in total meat volume in the US, but we're still like 20% ahead of 2019.
Yeah.
So we're still massively ahead of what we were pre-COVID. Post-COVID still is really high on meat sales. So you're probably not going to see meat prices change or decrease anytime soon. That 10 consecutive months of increasing, I'd gamble we're going to see another 10 before anything else happens.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. All right, so what does that mean? If you're at home, food prices are going up, and trust me, every Saturday when I leave the grocery store, I honestly try to have my headphones in and not listen to the number she says when I'm paying. I don't look at it. I hit in. I'm like, no. But I always catch it. It's like, should not be that much. This is no more than I normally buy. Anyways, so what does that mean? That means vacuum sealing is more important than ever. You want to keep your meat and any actual perishable good as fresh as possible, as long as possible. That means quality vacuum seal, quality bag, and get it frozen, super cold, and leave it in there until you're going to take it out. Do not get caught in taking it out, putting it back in, moving it. Just get it into an ice chest, leave it in there. When you start either partially defrosting and then refreezing, that's when we start seeing some really bad freezer burn, and you can ruin meat with freezer burn. I don't know that there's a quote unquote unspoiled piece of meat that I wouldn't eat. I've eaten some stuff that's had some nasty freezer burn on it before, and you can taste it. So for anyone who doesn't know, all freezer burn is really anytime any liquid freezes, it forms a crystalline structure. The colder you get the meat quicker, the smaller those crystals are going to be. So if you're putting something in your freezer that's like at 30 degrees, you're going to get large crystals on that. And then the oxidation from anywhere air can get at the meat, it's going to oxidize and dehydrate the outside of it. It's going to pull all those crystals right to the surface. So that's why you see those large crystals on freezer burn meat. You have to screw up pretty bad to get a really quality seal for something in there to have freezer burn. I know it's possible, but it's never happened to me. So I don't know. But where are we on the Walton's chambered vacuum sealers?
Oh, put me on the spot.
Are they on the water yet?
I want to say that if they're not on the water, they should be very soon, because we were hoping initially to have those by May, which in today's world of screwed up supply chains, not going to happen. But I'm gonna say that we should have them in June.
Okay.
So it depends, but stuff on the water has been taking longer. Customs has been taking longer. So I really hate to give anything definitive.
I know.
Because it's
just
a guessing game.
Do you remember when we thought they were in Kansas City?
Yeah.
She's
I
like,
got
they're in
all
Kansas
excited.
City. What? No. That was a month ago.
It was a container of something else from the same vendor.
Yeah. But those are coming in shortly. When they come in, a couple of things we're going to do for sure is we have a prototype over there that we will 100% draw a winner from for a live stream. I don't know about the Primavac. Do we have any use for that anymore?
Not really.
Okay. I may randomly select one of my weekly Meatgistics live streams as a sorry for missing, because I'm supposed to be doing that right now, but we need to do this. I might, like a day before, tell people what I'm gonna do, and then just draw it from, because there's a couple hundred people there. So I mean, it's the best odds you're gonna have ever to win a back. So I wonder where we are. Did you see the email I sent out a couple of days ago to all of our email list? It was our sales and the gun raffle from Pass It On.
Oh, yeah.
Like Custom 22.
He
had he said, he sent me an email that night. Patrick and I had been working on an email just to like show him some Clavio stuff. And I had already scheduled it. It was going to go out later. And he sent me an email saying they had 189 tickets left. And would we mind, pushing it out there? So I immediately canceled that email, added that to it, and sent it. And then I saw him post something like not even a day later, 14 hours later, that said they had 80 tickets left. So our fans, our customers, whatever, Walton's customers, do an awesome job for Mike and Pass It On.
Yeah.
I know he appreciates it, and we definitely appreciate it. We love those guys. I've never worked with an organization that's easier to root for than them.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's all about what all of us involved here are passionate about in outdoors, things that are related to meat or animals, processing, hunting, fishing, but all of those things are tied into kids, and it all comes back to a cause that if you don't support stuff like that, someday our industry is going to be dead.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You said they're all tied into kids, and now I can't think about anything but throwing a lure in the water after a kid coming to try to get it. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
God. But yeah, so if you're listening to this and you bought some of those tickets, thank you. Good luck. I bought a ticket just to show my support.
If you are to win on one of those.
It's a 1 in 500 chance. So
yeah.
What happened? You've won.
Oh.
You've won things in the past.
Yeah.
So why do you think this is different?
I don't know, that's different.
No, it's not.
Different because I'm not the one winning.
Exactly. Oh, so mad when you did that with your father. Look at this. Now, I think this year I bought 3 tickets. That year, for some reason, I think I only bought 2. I don't know why, because it's like the same price to buy. Anyways, and I'm sure you're making a more substantial donation through tickets for them.
Yeah, it depends, but yeah, I definitely have more than just a couple tickets.
Right. Yep. So that obviously helps. All right, we got anything else?
Yeah, I got one more thing.
Okay.
Since we were talking about vacuum sealing and doing that to kind of help extend your food since prices are going up, makes me think about using vacuum sealing to save and preserve your leftovers.
Okay.
Because that is a major deal. I didn't remember what the stat was, so I had to pull it up real fast. 2 different ones here. These are from a couple years ago, so it's probably worse and bigger than this now. But 27 million tons of food are thrown away every year in the U.S. And what Americans throw away in uneaten food values out to be about $165 billion. So in my mind, I mean, it's if you're someone that's going to use a vacuum sealer in your processing while you're making sausage and jerky and all of that, you can easily justify the cost there for leftovers as well. People throw away hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars just per family in food, throw it away every year. That, I mean, save it. I actually just changed up some things in my fridge at home so that we kind of had a few things scattered and like leftovers would just kind of go wherever they fit.
Yeah.
Now there's a shelf specifically for leftovers so that like my wife and I stopped throwing away as much stuff. So you open up the fridge and it's like the first main shelf you see. So it hits you in the face and it's like, eat the leftovers.
That's really smart.
Yeah.
That's really smart. One thing I've done from time to time, there are some, I don't know, they don't live under the bridge, the 96 bridge, but they're there often. I've given stuff to those guys, those homeless people, just because like I'm like, all right, it's been vacuum sealed and frozen. I would only give them fully cooked stuff, but I'm like, it's been vacuum sealed and frozen in my freezer for 6 months. I'm not excited about eating it. Give it to them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to throw it out. So I don't know.
Do something better than throwing it in the trash can.
Yep.
Very cool.
All right. We're all good?
That's all I got.
All right. Thanks, guys. We will talk to you again next week. Hopefully we'll have some updates for you on the new waltons.com, but we're not going to say a date.
No promises, but
no promises. Hopefully soon.
Yep.
Thanks,
everybody.
Thanks for checking out the Meatgistics podcast. To shop everything but the meat, head on over to waltonsinc.com. And to get your meat processing questions answered by experts and enthusiasts alike, head on over to our online community at meatgistics.com. Waltons, everything but the meat.